Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Fearless Generations with Terry Sayer and Kelly Fox.
Hello, and welcome to Fearless Generations, 12 Steps to Freedom. I am Kelly Fox, and we are here talking about Step 1, awareness, and the topic tonight is responsibility. So you might have noticed that this is airing or going live at a different time than normal, and that is because Terry and I had a very busy weekend, and yesterday we were absolutely exhausted. So we are coming to you today a little later than planned, but still coming to you. So we're going to be talking about awareness, as I said, but the awareness in the realm of responsibility. So what does responsibility have to do with awareness? Well, who is responsible for your awarenesses? Is it you? Is it someone else? That's going to be part of the conversation today. But let me welcome my beautiful co-host, Terry Sayer. How are you doing today, Terry?
I'm doing amazing. It's so good to be here with you. Sorry we missed out last night, but we were both beat.
Yep. I already shared that. We were very tired. Very tired, to say the least.
A little jet-lagged, I think.
Yeah. So continuing the conversation on Step 1 awareness with the topic tonight of responsibility. So talking about whose responsibility is it for us to gain these awarenesses? Is it our responsibility? Is it someone else's responsibility? I think when we're younger, we kind of put that on others than when we're older. We like to be told things. I know my younger generation in my household is the opposite. I don't know about opposite, but they like to call you out, as they say. So they feel it's their responsibility to help you have awarenesses. But I think that it's very much our own responsibility, and that once we are aware of where those changes are that we want to take place, where those shifts are, it's our responsibility to take the next move. It's not somebody else's. We might notice, hey, this person in this situation is crossing a boundary. Well, it's your responsibility to educate that person on your boundary and to hold that boundary. It's not the other person's responsibility to just stop that behavior without knowing that it's a problem. So we really need to take responsibility for our own awarenesses and create the change that we want to have in our lives. Terry?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking with one of my support groups this morning. We're reading a book called Think and Grow Rich for Women, and the topic today was on intuition. And to me, intuition is a form of awareness. It's being aware that you are receiving, like the sixth sense. People call it the sixth sense. I just call it the Holy Ghost. That when you're receiving these hits of intuition, inspiration, guiding you of what you're going to say, how you're going to act, what you're going to think. That's all around awareness. And if you're aware of your connection, your spiritual connection, for me, it's to God. If you're aware of that, then your responsibility is to act upon it, right? And to listen and observe. And so we were talking about this morning, and I was saying that, some people I think all of us are born with that innate capacity to connect spiritually to whatever, the universe, God, whatever. But sometimes we just don't practice it, and if you don't practice something, you sort of lose it, right? Use it or lose it. So I think the more we are in tune with our awareness and where that awareness comes from, whether it's an intuitive hit, whether it's an observation, whether it's a mindful listening, whether it's meditation, whether it's, being still and listening, that all of that awareness comes from a desire to know and to move forward, to change, however you want to call that as well, changing on a pathway to be whom whom God intended you to be, or to be your best self. That all of that starts with awareness, and awareness is keenly attached to my spirituality. So being aware of my thoughts and keeping my thoughts positive, because if my thoughts are positive, I'm going to be more connected to others and to God. So being aware of my thoughts, being aware and paying attention to the words I say to me, to others, and helps me to connect to myself and my actions as well. So it's all, synchronized, where our thoughts, words, and actions can propel us forward if we're aware of that connection, whether it's, for me, it's a spiritual connection, for others it might be something else. If you're aware of that, and that's what you want, because you're aware of what your desires and wants are, then you can really connect your growth, connect your ability to change to that awareness. And I know the next step we come to carries awareness to another level, but awareness is where it starts, and awareness is where it continues to grow throughout the 12 steps to freedom. It's really being aware, mindful, intentional, all the way through as we grow and we follow our path to freedom is awareness. And so that awareness is crucial, and it's our responsibility to be aware of our thoughts, our words, and our actions, and to be aware of our connections, and be aware of and observe and listen carefully, so that we can be that person we want to be, of service to others, and have love for others, love for ourselves, love for God, and we can move forward in a way that supports us.
Yeah, absolutely. For an example for me, some of you who follow us know other things that we do. Some of you don't. So to let you know, every December, since 2018 or 2017, I have hosted a fundraiser for suicide prevention, and I do that in honor of my father, who died by suicide. And on the 25th anniversary of his death, I had an awareness that but as we approached the 25th anniversary of his death, I had an awareness that I wanted to do something that would honor my father's memory, that would honor the man that he was, and take away from the thing he did. Because that was just one thing he did. It's not everything else that he did was beyond wonderful. So I had that awareness that I wanted to do something different, and I had lots of different things that I could have done. But what I chose to do was to start a fundraiser, and I've continued it. And this year we're approaching the 30th anniversary of his death, and we just continue to up-level it. And it's my awareness of the fundraiser and wanting to make it better gives us that opportunity to up-level it, to reach more people, to create more opportunities for people to be involved, to create more inspiration and education and support in the community and at our speaker event. Everything that we can do to move this cause forward of breaking the silence, which is what it's called. Break the Silence is my fundraiser. But it started with the awareness of I wanted to celebrate, or not necessarily celebrate, but I wanted to experience the day, the anniversary day of his death in a completely different way than I had the 25 years previously or 24 years previously. And that was where it started. It started with that awareness, and I wanted to do something different. I wanted to experience it different. I wanted to cause change in the world, and I wanted to benefit those who were out there in the field supporting people who have suicide thoughts and suicide thoughts, and those who are survivors, which are family members and friends of someone who has died by suicide. So Terry and I are survivors. And so that is, and then I took responsibility for that thought. I took responsibility for that awareness, and I put it into action. And it was up to me. I didn't put it up to anyone else. I don't think I even really got other people's opinions. I just figured out how I was going to do it, and then I asked for help from my family, and I put it together. In the first year, it was kind of, it was small, but we still raised, money, and we were able to donate it to a suicide prevention task force. And each year we just raise more and more. And I think last year we raised almost $10,000. So, this year coming forward, the fundraiser is on December 18th every year. And this year we're hoping to raise even more than that. And so this small awareness that I had has now grown into this movement to break the silence and to raise money for the Suicide Prevention Task Force.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was listening to you. I didn't know you asked me a question.
I didn't ask you a question. I was asking for a response.
Oh, well, I think that it's turned out to be a really positive thing, because really my husband's legacy was not that he committed suicide. His legacy was all of the wonderful things that he did in his 56 years of life. And it's a wonderful way to address the issue and for the community to support us in raising the money for the LOST team and for the Suicide Prevention Task Force, which we spoke to just before we started this, and encouraging them to help us to get the word out and to join. We're adding a 5K because I went on a 5K walk with one of our police officers committed suicide, and his wife had a 5K and raising money for suicide prevention for first responders, and I went on that, to support her, and I had an awareness at that time that this is something we could add to our fundraiser that could be actually the people that knew my husband and loved him like we did, and then my children and their friends, and all of us could also do a 5K and raise even more money for the Suicide Prevention Task Force. So it's evolving, and it's going to, I'm sure, be carried on long after I'm here, and it will always be an opportunity for the community to come together around the mental health issues that suicide fits into. It's a mental health issue, and mental health is now becoming not a stigma, but an area that people are understanding so much better. So I'm really excited about it, and I think it's going to be really wonderful this year.
Yes, I'm super excited for it too. And, and so if there's something that you're passionate about, there's awareness you're having about something you want to create change around, it starts with that awareness. It starts with that desire for something to be different, that desire for something to shift, that desire for that perception of whatever to change. And it can grow into something huge, but it all starts with that awareness. And it's up to us to take responsibility for those awarenesses that we have, or like Terry was saying, those intuitive hits that we get. I've had several intuitive hits over the years. I did not take responsibility for all of them. I will freely admit that. But there's some that I have. I wanted to share my story in a book, and I did. I went on a mission for my church. I got married. I had children. Those were all things that I felt I was being called to do. Those were all awarenesses that I was given that called me forth to do something that probably was outside of my comfort zone. Each time I went out for a play, or when we started this podcast, and this weekend, as I told you, Terry and I are exhausted. That's because we emceed a national conference of a organization that we are involved with called Polka Dot Powerhouse. And it was 2 very full days of being on stage and entertaining. And, of course, everyone loved us and our banter and our relationship. But when I got home Sunday night, I was exhausted, and I was exhausted all yesterday as well. So, we take responsibility, but for those things that we're called forth to do, and we were called forth to apply and be the MCs of that event, and we were able to do that. And so there's little promptings that we get all the time, and do we take responsibility for them, or do we just let them come in one ear and out the other? Or do we keep them in and think about them and explore them and see what could we do to bring them forth? What could we do to step out of our comfort zone and make them a reality? I think that when we can accept I'm sorry, I got distracted. When we can accept that responsibility of our awarenesses, then things will start to happen.
Absolutely. And I think when we ignore those intuitive hits or those moments of clarity and awareness that come to us, they come less often. That we when we have we need to act upon it. I know we don't need to, but we can choose to. And if we choose to act upon our awarenesses and we try something and it doesn't give us joy or doesn't fill our soul, then we just try something different. We practice something different. But if we don't go for it, then we don't make any progress, right? So it's that I'm aware of this. Now I'm going to do this. And then what am I aware of? Am I aware of that this was probably powerful for me, or was it not powerful for me? And then what's my next awareness, and where do I go next? So it's just always building on that capacity to see and know and feel and then take action on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Terry, is there an example like mine in your life where you felt, I know going out for city council is one, but is there something else where you felt you received an awareness and you took the responsibility and went forth with it?
Well, I think my spiritual journey is certainly an example of following a path. And from the time I was young, I yearned to have an experience and having a relationship with Christ. And my grandmother was the one that would take me to church. And I loved my grandmother, and I knew that she loved me. So I wanted to be with her and be a part of her spiritual experience. But as I grew older, I really was on a trip of discovery, and I attended many churches and was baptized multiple times. And it was interesting that when I came to a particular faith, that it was, the awareness was so keen that I knew that I had discovered the place that would support me, that would feed my soul. And that was an example of following the path of awareness until I was able to gain clarity and know in my heart and in my soul that was the right place for me to be. And I think if I hadn't been aware of that need and that desire to have that relationship, that I wouldn't have kept looking. I wouldn't have kept practicing. And, just on the pathway to discovering my own spiritual support and what worked for me. And I think most everybody who goes on a spiritual journey, if they're aware and they don't give up, they'll find what they want in order to have that experience that they desire.
Yeah. I love that. Well, we are coming to a close, and I want to give ourselves a little bit more time to talk about what we've got coming up, because this is time for you to take responsibility for those awarenesses going on. You've been listening to the show maybe a long time, maybe a short time, and it's time for you to take that next step. It's time to start working with us and to join our group program. And our group program just started because it's step 1, and there's plenty of time for you to come in and get started with us. And we really want you to go check it out. It's on the website, Fearless Generations, with an S on the end, fearlessgenerations.org, and look under Stepping Towards Freedom. It is our group program. It's 12 months. We go over each one of these steps in depth in 2 classes a month. You get, we also do 2 masterminds a month. We bring in guest coaches. You get a 1-hour coaching session with either Terry or I, and you also get all of the stuff that we already give you: Terry Talks, the podcast, all of our daily posts of inspiration and education, and you get access to Terry and I, and it really is an amazing program. We have seen such enormous transformation from our clients who have taken the course, and several of our clients have taken the course more than once, and just to gain even further understanding, to gain even more transformation that they are wanting, because like we continue to do the same steps in the podcast, we always approach it in a new place, and we always get new things from each step. And so we really encourage you to go check it out on the website. Click the button that says talk, if you want to know more, and that is a conversation with me. I would love to have a conversation with you, walk you through it step by step, help you to really understand all of the value that you'll be getting from doing this workshop. There's testimonials there. Watch the videos, read the testimonials. That's just a few of the people that have gone through this program. And if you want to talk to one of our clients, I will even set up a conversation with one of our past clients. I know that a few right off the top of my head that would love to talk to you about the program if you are still on the fence. It's an amazing program, and we'd really like to give you this moment to become aware if you are ready to start taking responsibility for these, promptings that you're getting to step out of your comfort zone and live a more fearless life. This is the class that's going to give you an in-depth look at the 12 steps to freedom. Plus, we teach you 12 specific tools throughout the program as well. And so you'll be able to fill your toolbox with tools so that when you step away from the program, you will have a plethora of strategies and tools and ways to support yourself in being more fearless. Terry, do you have anything you would like to add to that?
No, I think that's a really good synopsis of the class. I think it's an opportunity not only for you to engage with us in the material and the content, but the members of the class form a support group as well. And in the past, we've had people that have been partners and worked together and done their assignments together and end up being lifelong friends. So they continue to support each other even after the year program is done. So I think there's a real collaboration and collegiality that grows, and friendship, and that desire to be there for the other person and support them. So that's another thing that people that have taken the course before have talked about, how supportive that was, and having another person to talk to during the month of the program. There's 2 times that they'll have work to do together and just have developed those relationships. And really, life is about developing relationships. You know, a relationship with yourself,
Absolutely.
A relationship with your higher power, a relationship with your friends and family, colleagues. It's really all about relationships. And so that's another thing that is an outcome of being in the program, is you develop these amazing relationships that will, you know, be lifelong.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know they still check in with each other and are always so happy to reconnect. And we are so happy to reconnect with them. It just makes me super excited when I get a message or I see them put a comment in one of my posts or whatever it might be. It just warms my heart. So, yes, another feature in the program is we have a Facebook group which you can post in, ask questions, seek support, and you get partnered up with a new person each month to do classwork with and homework with, so that you can have a buddy on that journey too. And each month we switch up the partnership so that you really get to know everyone in the group really well, and it just creates such a trusting, loving environment so that you can be fully vulnerable and open and really get whatever you need to shift and to change and to become that person you really truly want to become. You start to believe that that's possible. You start to take the steps to get yourself there, and you get there. And then you realize that you can even be more than what you previously thought you could be. And that just continues as you continue to step forward and expand your comfort zone bigger and bigger. So we definitely want to let you know about that opportunity. Please go to the website, fearlessgenerations.org, and check that out. Click the button to talk to me if you need to. If not, sign up, and I will be contacting you to start that process and get moving forward. Also, we have 2 workshops every month, so please check those out. We have a free workshop on the Saturday of the month from 10 to 11:30 Pacific time, and we have a second workshop on the 4th Monday of the month from 5:30 to 7, and that is a small fee. And in those workshops, we teach one of the 4 foundational tools of fearless living, and they're really great workshops. And this month, I believe we are doing no complaining. So the tool for that is gratitudes, and a lot of people are familiar with gratitudes, but in Fearless Living, we do them a little bit different. So come check it out and learn a new way of doing gratitudes that might support you and be more powerful for you. I know they are for me. And then we have always things going on. So make sure you're in the Facebook group, Get Fearless at Any Age with Fearless Generations. We also are on Instagram and LinkedIn. Make sure that you're plugged in and getting all that you can from us. And until next week, everybody, Be fearless.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.